You're listening to the Impact Implosion on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
It is February 17th, 2017. It is another episode of the Impact Implosion here on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. As always, I'm Seth Drake, and on the other end is the pesos to my masked Englishman, Mr. Mike Poland.
Hello!
I had something else for pesos, but I forgot it.
Yep.
Well, there's a few bit of news. Josh being an idiot.
What's new?
We got to talk about this. Josh claimed he is the greatest play-by-play man in the world.
Shut up, Josh.
That's all you're going to say about that.
Pretty much. That's all I got.
This guy's
you're stretching there just a little bit, Josh.
I mean, everyone is freaking calling him out. EC3, and Shark Boy, and Jeremy Borash. By the way, he said Jeremy Borash, go fly the drone. Which would be news to me because I thought that drone flew on its own. I'm kidding. I knew the drone doesn't fly on its own. But, yeah, Jay, he's an idiot. He is. I mean, there are so many better now. And he tried to say he's better than Tony Schiavone. At least better than Tony Schiavone. And JB's like, I know Tony Schiavone. He's a good friend of mine.
Tony, are we talking about
Tony Schiavone?
Didn't care in the late, before WCW was shut down, or just Tony in general? Because Tony's actually pretty good.
Tony Schiavone in general, I think.
Yeah, Tony's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just towards the end of WCW because he didn't care.
Nobody could give a shit by the end. I mean, who the hell do you think wanted to give a shit at the end?
Scott Steiner, the champion.
Well, Scott Steiner would beat the shit out of anyone. Remember?
Hey, look, it's Mike Sanders.
Yeah, Scott. Yeah. There's certain people, but, the way it was booked. But we'll have to get into something else that goes on in the Hardy segment when that happens. But that's about it.
Oh, that's it. Yep.
So we got to get to this show that was meh.
Boy.
We start off with video packages galore. Two of them.
Last week's show.
The Hardys going to Tijuana, and the Wolves split from last week.
Yep. And we have a mixed tag to start off.
Oh, goddamn, I do remember now what I was going to say. I was going to say the pesos to my blurred face.
Oh, darling.
Yeah. Oh, and we begin with a mixed tag match with Lord Help Us, Moose and Brandy Rose, or she likes to be called Mini Moose, and Crazy Steve and Rosemary. By the way, every time she calls herself Mini Moose, I go, zip it, zip, zip, zip it. Like the Dr. Evil.
Mini Moose.
Shush. Shush. So, Rosemary is smart.
Green, or whoever was the son in that movie.
It was Seth Green, but Brandy Rose wants to start the match, but Rosemary's like, hell no, you ain't fighting. So, Rosemary puts tags in Steve, so it's Crazy Steve and Moose through most of the match. And we get some interesting commentary with Josh Matthews as he refers to his wife in the third person.
Oh, that's not
where he's like, well, if my wife was here, I'd try to defend her. I'm like, your wife's right next to you, buddy.
Hey, babe.
Yeah, your wife's next to you, Josh. We all know you're married to Madison Rain.
Ugh.
So then Rosemary had to sell for Brandy, and it was horrible.
Oh, poor Rosemary.
And Moose and Brandy won. Rosemary got no offense in on Brandy.
That's a way to make your knockout champion look good.
Let her lose face to some greenhorn.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's
Moose pinned Rosemary. Yeah, knockout champion. Yeah. So Eddie doesn't want it. The camera's like, hey, Eddie. He's like, I don't want to talk on camera. I'm just here to beat Davy's ass.
Mm-hmm.
So
that certainly did happen.
Moose and Brandy celebrate backstage, and Moose tells Brandy he'll be there.
We'll talk about Braxton later.
Backstage, I meant. Sorry. Moose tells Brandy he will be there if she gets in trouble again.
Mm-hmm.
So here comes Eddie Edwards, who is not doing the usual WWE thing of showboating. He's just walking to the ring pissed. This man is pissed.
Davey, get your ass out here.
Yeah. I never thought I would need to say this, but I'm going to kick your ass, Davey. And I'm like, Ring of Honor?
Yeah, when Davey was complaining about you getting trained by Dan Severn for some reason.
Yeah. So yeah. And here comes Angelina Love with new music, and obviously Angelina Love is the person with the pants in that relationship, as she's like, you get to fight
Davey.
Davey.
Same thing with the Matt Hardy Rebby Sky thing last year.
You get to fight Davey when I say you get to fight Davey. And I'm like, hey, Davey gotta say it. So, and he says, where were you, Eddie Edwards, when he was injured and on the shelf? Where were you when I was 9 months pregnant? You were defending your title. And it announces Davey Richards as the American Wolf. And all I want to think is American Wolf, American Wolf, American Wolf.
Scotty Riggs and Marcus Bagwell frickin' driving a red Corvette.
Yeah. I'm sad. I know that's his real nickname, the American Wolf. And they're the American Wolves, and, but I was thinking of, for some reason, even though he had new music too. So,
oh, boy.
Davey and Eddie start fighting. Well, actually, Davey starts saying some shit. And then Eddie's like, too late. We're fighting.
We're fighting.
I love this. He's like, go away, Davey. You don't want me in that ring. He's like, too fucking late. I'm coming towards you. So they brawl.
Eddie Edwards, we coming for you, nigga. Wait, what?
You're a white guy. Don't say that. I know. Anyway, Anyways, the security pulls them apart. Eddie gets free, grabs the mic, and says, anything goes, street fight, tonight.
At that point, I'm like, wait a minute, you're blowing the cover off this feud already?
Yeah, you want. And then we get the first part of Braxton Sutter.
Oh, boy.
Where he's like, I don't want to. Why am I here? What am I doing here?
Your bachelor party, buddy.
Mike's like, this is your bachelor party, and this is all your. Well, okay, all your friends are here. It's like, I don't know any of these people. Okay, they're my friends.
All his friends are apparently stiffs.
Okay, yeah, and Kenny over there, he can get you whatever you want. Like, Kenny's a stoner.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, the super loser party friends.
Yes.
And then we get the punishing the porcelain commercial with V.I. Pooh.
Oh, God.
That shit had to return.
V.I. Pooh.
V.I. Pooh. I can't always have my bathroom smelling horrible. I can't have my bathroom smelling horrible. We know your bathroom smells horrible. We don't need to talk about it. Normally people have an air freshener and they're a fucking fan. So, anyways, back to Tijuana. The Hardys head to invade the Crash promotion. Not Clash. It's Crash.
Oh, it wasn't like CMLL or AAA or anything.
No, actually, it's an offshoot. Conan had a disagreement with AAA, and
what a shock! Conan having a disagreement with somebody.
Yeah, Conan. Yeah, so he performed his own promotion, the Crash, and some of the people left there, like Phoenix and Pentagon Jr., who's now Penta El Zero Miedo, because Pentagon Jr. and Phoenix are brothers, and AAA tried to fuck Phoenix before he left. So Pentagon's gone. Yeah, blood's thicker than water, people. Anyway, this is not so. They asked the promoter to secure the tag team titles, and they find a man in the lucha mask, and they speak Spanish to him actually, and he takes off his mask like, dude, I speak English. I don't know where the promoter went. Last I saw him, he went that way. He's like, thank you and por favor or something. He's like, I speak English.
Stereotypes.
Yep. So tomorrow is going to be not tomorrow, next week is going to be the Laurel Van Ness and Braxton Sutter wedding. The most controversial
I'm
wedding.
hearing that this segment's actually good.
the most controversial wedding in wrestling history, as Josh likes to say.
No, not hardly.
So Maria, Sienna, and Laurel get off an elevator and see that Allie has booked them a bachelorette party with balloons and cupcakes and streamer, pinata and party horns. And Maria's like,
bless Allie for trying, but
this sucks. And then Maria has to inform Allie that this is Laurel's bachelorette party. She's going to marry Braxton Sutter next week. And Allie is sad.
Oh, sad Allie.
And then comes Kingston, wrestling alone, as Josh likes to call the DCC the most dangerous trio in Impact Wrestling ever.
He's facing Jesse Goddard.
Yeah, he's facing Jesse Goddard. And Jesse wins. Not much of a match. Jesse wins. DCC comes out, but Jesse had already got out of the ring, and DCC's jump streak continues. So much for being the most dangerous trio in Impact Wrestling. You get fooled by Jesse.
They're eighth and eighth light.
Yeah, the most dominant trio. At least they're not saying the most dominant trio in wrestling history, because Shield might want to beat their asses on that one. Shield actually beat people and had an undefeated streak for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So Braxton has to deal now with Kenny, who wants to give him drugs, and Braxton's like, "Can I go?" And he's like, "No, because if you leave, I have to go home. The party's over. And if that happened, I'd have to go home. So what we're going to do is we're going to have this fat guy jump, whatever Frank does, jumps on the couch,
Fat
which
Frank.
Fat Frank or whatever, I forget his name. And he lands on Kenny.
Oh my God, you killed Kenny.
You bastards. Next is the fact of life.
Kudos to Sutter and Bennett for trying here, but
they actually did pretty good. Everyone else was just this is actually the one few times Mike Bennett actually did a good thing. Actually did well.
Yeah.
Surprising, I know. The jar of mayonnaise. Mike Bennett did a miracle and actually was entertaining.
Yep.
So next is the fact of life, and Tyrus is the host this time.
Oh boy.
Well, actually, he'll be the host next, but we go back to Allie and Maria and Laurel and Sienna. And Allie says, well, what do you have, anything? Well, I have this pinata here. You can beat it and get some candy, and I have this headband for you, Maria. And says, well, your outfit's pink. It's white. This is pink. This is pink. And Sienna's like, can we open this liquor?
I'd be asking the same thing.
So we go back to see Tyrus still hosting the show. And by the way, fans are booing this. Fans are not happy with
Eli Drake.
Yeah. And here comes Eli Drake.
And he's actually going to talk this week.
Yeah, he's going to talk. And bad news for Tyrus, he's going to beat the shit out of you on promos. He's going to say, these fans don't deserve to hear me speak, but I need to give you the truth. I didn't ask for your help. I didn't ask you for the 2-on-3. I didn't ask you to pick EC3 instead of picking something like title, which he couldn't, technically, because all the titles were already defended, but I didn't ask you about the two. You didn't ask me about the 2-on-3. You didn't ask me about EC3. You know, I like to beat EC3, but I lost, so, look, I pay you. You do what
basically
I say.
Exposing Tyrus' idiocies.
I'm the man who over main events. You're the man who watches them. You're on my set.
Your whole career, you've been the man who watches them.
I own you. And Tyrus grabs and says, "No one owns me.
Nobody owns me. Grr."
Well, actually, the guy who pays does own you, you dumbass. You've been doing this for weeks. Yeah, you've been doing this for weeks as the fixer.
Hell, you were doing this with EC3 3 years ago. It's not the fixer thing, but it's the bodyguard gimmick.
Yeah. So, after this, we go back to Tijuana with the Hardys, and somebody tells the promoter that that the Hardys want in the wrestling, so for your titles. And I'm like, I don't have enough money. It's Conan, by the way. I don't have enough money to pay them.
I'll go toss my salad. No, what?
He's like, they're not asking for money.
What
Wait,
they want?
what? Well, so they come. Actually, as Booker, he says, I don't have it. And the Hardys are like, we are not here for your pesos. We are here for your titles. And he's like, you don't want to get paid? No. And he's like, good. You get a title match? Sure. Go ahead. And then he says, I don't have to pay you. Good. Hey, assistant, get out there, make some bootleg stuff for them because they're here. Going to make some money out of this. Like a real promoter would do. Get some bootleg Hardy stuff. Make some stuff.
Yep.
So Laurel gets a present, which is some gift lingerie from Maria, and make sure that Allie books you're going to set up the wedding, Allie.
Oh, boy.
And you will be, you're get our bridesmaid dresses. And she's like, but I don't want to be a bridesmaid. You're not going to be a bridesmaid. You're a ring bearer. And I'm just like, at some point, do they realize how bad this is, having this person who you hate, who completely screws things up, book your stuff? Are you so stupid?
You don't know where this is headed?
You don't know how this is going to end, do you? So they leave, and Sienna takes the alcohol.
Last call for alcohol.
Yep. So back in Tijuana, the Hardys are ready for their match, and Matt says Vanguard won to Matt Powder accepts their exit when they take out the when they get the titles, because they're not going to want us to have the titles to leave here with them. So, and by the way, the referee is blurred out because he's a Lucha Underground ref, and TNA Lucha Underground told him you can't show the ref. It's Marty Elias. You can't show him.
Oh, wasn't he a WWE ref at one point too?
Yeah, he was. So, by the way, during this match, Vanguard 1 says, I'm bored as fuck. So he holds up the number, and here come all of these women to hang out with Vanguard 1. You dog, you. Vanguard 1. Yeah. So, in the match, it is the Hardys versus Psychosis and Super Crazy, and it's really cut. It's a really cut match. It's not really the whole match, sadly.
Of course not.
It's just clips of the action, and the Hardys win. They run backstage to leave. Conan realizes they have the belt. He's like, we can't have them take the belts out of here. So, but before they get to the Hardys locker room, they're gone. They just disappeared. And meanwhile, they teleport back to the Dome of Deletion, and Matt says, I have a premonition. I will revert to my Egyptian roots and become the King of Gold. And they show next week that they will try to win the Mid-Atlantic tag titles.
It's the Carolinas, I'm guessing.
Yeah. NWA Mid-Atlantic.
It's not CWF Atlantic or whatever that.
It is that? Okay.
I said I'm not sure if it's that.
Okay, whatever it is. Apparently, they in this trailer, they say the tag champs have held this belt for a while.
Which shows how much anybody actually pays attention, if that's true.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to look that up with the Hardy Boys. Okay. Because I am sure that belt, but I'm going to continue while I look this up. Next is Sienna versus Brooke. We're doing this again.
Oh, boy.
Serious. Good news. This was not as bad as last time.
Bad news. Madison Rain's back on commentary.
Well, actually, she was, there was some good news in this, and actually she, completely owned, Josh in a segment. And by the way, it is not really a Mid-Atlantic title. It is the MCW tag team, which is Maryland Championship Wrestling.
Oh, boy.
And the tag titles. Let's see how long they've been.
Who's holding them?
Well, the Hardys are holding them right now, but let's see who held them before the Hardys.
Two guys.
And the Dirty Money and Eric Chappell held them beforehand, and they held the belts for a year. Well, almost a year. From July to January, so not 2 years. Well, although this was their third title reign, so technically they could have held them for 2 years. They first won them in 2015, and yeah, all that stuff. So, yeah, technically they had held them for 2 years. They've been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The Ectourage, as they were called.
The triple extra-rage.
So, yeah, time for Brooke versus Sienna with Madison on commentary, and Josh says, you get a Valentine's gift, doing a TNA, Shop TNA plug, get your Valentine's Day gift. I forgot mine, and I'm like,
Your wife's sitting there
right
next to you, buddy. You dummy.
You dummy. Don't admit that.
You idiot.
Madison and Pope get on a point. Josh says, I want to make a point here, and Madison's like, oh, you could if you had one to make.
Ooh.
And Pope even says,
I'm going to get Josh some ice.
Yeah, burn. Yeah, your own wife just burned you.
Ashton Kutcher would have loved that one.
So, Brooke rolled up Sienna for the win. Better match than the last time. Just was
I
meh.
ain't saying much.
Yeah.
We have a Lashley promo next, I believe.
Actually, no, we got to go back to Braxton Sutter wanting out of this wedding, and Miracle says, no, you got to say, man. And George, this guy says, hey, I have this DVD here that I've been wanting to play, and Miracle's like, throws the DVD away and says, we got some real fun. Meet Roxanne. And Roxanne does his voice, and then he looks at her, and in the best way possible, slams the door and says, hey, George, where's that DVD at?
I guess he didn't give it a green light.
No, I do love his reaction to the stripper and just like,
get the DVD.
Where's the DVD at? That was probably the best part of that, is his reaction to the less than impressive stripper. So backstage, Eli Drake talks in the camera to Tyrus. He's going to threaten to do the same thing to Tyrus that he did to EC 3 weeks ago, even though really the DCC did most of the damage. So then we get the Lashley promo, or Franklin. I got to call him Franklin. Franklin comes and wondered when he was going to show up, and basically says, I'm the 4-time champion, and there is no one that can hang with me in wrestling and MMA because I am the baddest man on the planet. And here comes UFC fighter Josh Barnett.
Hey, Bobby, how you doing?
With no pop whatsoever. These people had no fucking idea who this guy was.
Of course not.
TNA, I know what they're doing here, but you've already failed. This crowd doesn't know who this fucking guy is. So, sorry, you failed. You tried to get a celebrity. It didn't work. Moving on. Anyway. Franklin says there are rules in MMA, but there aren't any rules in my world. And I'm like, really? I think there are rules in wrestling. Last I checked, I think you have to pin or submit the champion. So Josh Barnett wants a title shot, and Franklin accepts. So we're really doing this.
Next week.
I'm going to ask a serious question with how this segment went. What the serious fuck are we doing here?
Ratings,
what are we doing?
Boy.
This ain't going to work. It's already, the crowd already said this ain't going to work. The crowd didn't give a shit. It's flopped. It's already screwed. I can't believe. And, oh, by the way, Barnett said Franklin wasn't living up to expectations. Whose? I mean, as far as TNA goes, he's dominant.
He's the heel face of that company.
Yeah. So, yeah, poor Braxton is still stuck in the bachelor party. Everyone else is passed out. But Braxton decides to sneak around, and he's going to have some fun with Mike Bennett. He sees George with the stripper, and he decides, George, you need to get up, man. Get up. And George goes somewhere, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to put the stripper right on Mike, and I'm going to do a nasty picture and text it to Maria. And yeah. Explain that one, Mike.
That's going to come up in a wedding segment.
Yeah. Explain that one, Miracle. So that I do actually, I did actually like these segments with Braxton and Miracle. I did like them. I'm surprised. I did not expect that because both men are bland as anything. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
But this seemed more in their wheelhouse. This seemed like they were not given a script. not given, what to say or something, and they're just told, do something.
Hit the DVD.
Yeah. We're going to give you less than appealing stripper. Go. Slam the door. George, where's that DVD?
And that brings us to our street fight main event.
Which they only hyped up in the second segment and did not mention any other time in the show.
Way to go.
Way to go. If you didn't see that segment, you would know the Wolves are fighting tonight in a street fight.
Last week, you wouldn't know they were split up.
Yeah. Well, actually, you would because the opening said they showed the split. So, anyway, already there's a problem here because I know they're trying to promote this as something big, but this ain't even the first time we've seen the Wolves fight each other on Impact. It happened a few times. They fought each other. World title series. I think that one time.
One night only.
Yeah, that one time MVP was in charge and he wanted them to fight. We've seen this. Josh gets nervous during the match because Pope says, hey, with new management, there are some changes coming. And Josh is like, what do you mean? There are some changes coming on my position.
Shut up, Josh.
They can't fire me.
That's the announcer in the business, huh?
That's not their business. They can't fire me. So
Yes,
this match is, and they probably should. So anyway, this match really is, Davey attacked Eddie from behind. And this was a nothing match until the end. Because Eddie's an idiot. Eddie's a fucking idiot. I'm not going to lie to you. Here's what he does. Davey works in the hand of Eddie. He starts chanting at the fan. Eddie comes with a flying clothesline. And
he just worked on your hand. Come on now.
Yeah. It may have been his other hand. He knocks Davey out of the ring, hits a suicide dive, which lands in the crowd. Eddie grabs a chair. Then Angelina gets in with one of her own, and Eddie, for some dumb fuck reason, drops his and just keeps staring at her, saying, "Go ahead, hit me, come on." And I'm like, this allows Davey, by the way, who's not unconscious, who was never unconscious during this thing, to grab the other steel chair and hit Eddie from behind.
And somewhere the ref got knocked out too.
Well, that's late. Eddie's wife tried to jump on Davey. Angelina lays her out with a single hit and then handcuffs her to the rope and asks Davey for the chair because she's going to hit Alicia with the chair. But Davey comes in to cover Alicia so Eddie can Davey takes the chair and he just unloads on Davey, beating the crap out of him. Then Angelina drags Eddie away, sets a chair on top of Eddie's head, and Davey delivers another chair to the top of it. So, concerto, kind of. I would like to say kind of, by the way, because it's not behind the back of his head. So, this moment, Earl Hebner gets kicked in the dick, and seriously, he gets it. It looks like he really got kicked in the dick. Either that's really good selling or she's really good at pulling the kick because it looked like he really got kicked in the dick. Then Earl Hebner's out of the ring. So Davey puts his foot on. See, I can't even run. These two are so bland. These two are like twins.
Davey puts his foot on Eddie and Angelina counts
the three. Yeah. So, and then they make out on top of a fallen Edwards. So, yeah, this match technically didn't have a finish.
Yay!
The show, I give this a C. There's some good stuff, but the bad stuff is really bad. They need to fix. You really need to stop making Eddie look like the biggest fucking moron in existence.
Yep.
Because seriously, I looked at him. Angelina's coming there with the chair, and Eddie watches the chair. I'm like, oh my God, what did you do? Why did you drop that chair? Because I know what's happening. And sure enough, he gets hit with the chair, and I'm like, you fucking moron. I mean, seriously. And I do love Alicia coming in there, doing basically nothing, trying to get on Davey's back, and then Angelina hits her, decks her. One shot, Alicia's done. She was nothing.
No, that didn't take much.
That didn't take much to knock her ass out. TNA needs help. They need a lot of help.
And we have a wedding next week.
We have a wedding next week, and I don't know what else we're going to have next week. Eli Drake and Moose. Not Moose, Tyrus.
Bobby Lashley and Josh Barnett.
I don't think that's going to happen next week. I know some people are saying it's going to, but I think Josh Barnett's got an indie first match to fight. He's actually going to have a wrestling match before Franklin.
But this is the last week before they do tapings again.
Well, then I guess that match was just a dark match.
Okay. That makes sense.
So, this just sucked.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that I can't say the show sucked. It was better than last week's, which was better than a week before that. So they go from an F to a D to a C.
Slowly moving up the pool.
Slowly moving up, but still having problems. And really, this whole Anthem thing is really not working out.
No, because they're trying to change it too quick.
No, it's not like they're changing too quick. They're not doing anything. The only thing they've done is make the stable that's supposed to be dominant to be the threat to be no threat at all. I mean, really, they're idiots who gave away a briefcase to fight Decay. I know you tried to have them beat up BC3, but that did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You then had Kingston, the wild card, lose to freaking Jesse. And then when they have a chance to, get some heat back in that, Jesse leaves. Jesse outsmarts him. Seriously.
Are they the ones behind this last string of tapings, or was Dixie still there?
No, Anthem was behind this last string of tapings. Anthem was behind it. Anthem had already taken control. And it was like the second week. It was like the second day of the show. They had showed the new logo and all that. So yeah, they've been behind this tapings. Oh,
golly! And on that note,
do you have anything to sell?
Nah.
Well, I do. Tomorrow. I mean, not tomorrow. Well, actually, it is going to be tomorrow. Saturday. I'm going to be putting up the new poll for the next Monster Crap induction, which I will reveal those inductees, those nominees right now. Nominees are, and some of them you may have seen from past ones because any movie that got a vote from the past poll can stayed, and the winner and the one is gone. So anyway, Night of the Living Dead 3D.
Oh boy.
Pumpkinhead Ashes to Ashes. Earth versus the Spider.
Oh God.
Time Walker. Gamera versus Virus. The Grudge 2, and these are the new ones. Lost Boys, The Tribe. Yeah, there was a sequel to that Lost Boys movie that was made in 2006, 16 years after the original. And it sucks. Final Days of Planet Earth, which stars Daryl Hannah, by the way. And Daryl Hannah, yeah, back in the day. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Splash. That was boring, even though it had bug people in it. Hellraiser 6, Hellseeker. The only one of these one of these bad films that actually has the original actress from the first two films, still sucked. And the Pulse remake from 2006, which is internet ghosts that can be stopped by tape. Red tape.
Oh boy, that sounds wonderful.
You're safe if you're in red tape.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all those going to be the inductee nominated, and the winner is going to be inducted in March.